First, I'd like to give a special thanks to Paramount Motors for making this video possible. They supplied the car in today's video, and I'm a past customer. They are a very nice dealership, and I've had really good experiences. I highly recommend them if you're in the market for an electric vehicle. They are located just south of downtown Seattle, near the old Rainier Brewery. Hi, this is John with The Evolving World. Today I'm doing a video on a 2014 Cadillac ELR. This particular model is in crystal red with a light cashmere interior. These cars pretty much come fully loaded with a $75,000 base price. There's really not that many options that you can get. This car has only two. It has the luxury group package, and it also has the red paint. This video will be filmed in basically 3 segments. The first segment is me just walking around the vehicle, showing you what it looks like from the outside, giving some kind of zooming in some of the details, giving my impressions of what I feel about the design of the car. And then the next section will be the interior, and that's where I'll step into the car, get in the back seat, get in the front seat, push all the buttons, kind of look around, honk the horn, just kind of show you what the operation of the vehicle is like from the inside. And then the third segment will be the driving impressions, and that's when I'll take it on the road and drive around some curves, take it on the highway. As I continue to walk around the car here, you can kind of see the looks of the car. I mean, it's incredibly distinctive, incredibly bold, angular kind of lines. I mean, it's very, very striking car to see in person. I mean, you're not going to mistake it for much else. It's definitely very nice. I think it's a very beautiful car. I mean, it's very nicely done. And one of the interesting things about the car, it was shown as a concept car back in 2009, got the go-ahead for production after much debate 2 years later in 2011. And when it finally did, at that time, it was estimated to be about a $57,000 price point for the car, and then somehow between 11 and 14, it became $75,000. Guess they got the numbers backwards. But what's interesting about it to me is that how, if you look at the pictures of the concept car and how it looks now, it's like they really did stay true to the design to preserve all of it, which is very nice because the Chevy Volt had very similar kind of styling. Well, not exactly like this, but it had very bold styling lines too. By the time it made it to production, there really wasn't any resemblance to the actual concept car. Well, unlike this car where they preserved a lot of it. So I do give them very high marks for doing that. The electric motor puts out about 181 horsepower, which is about 32 more than the Chevy Volt. And it's about 295 pounds of torque, which is about 22 over the Chevy Volt. Now the car does weigh significantly more than the Chevy Volt. It's about 4,050 pounds. Which is about 300 pounds heavier, so that added horsepower doesn't really add up for the weight too much. Although it does manage to go 0 to 60 in 8.5 seconds. Why are there no gas struts to hold up the front hood? Instead, we get a stick, just like a cheap economy car. It's ridiculous. On a $75,000 car, you have to give us gas struts on this. The car has an EPA range of 37 miles and about 300 miles when it's in gas mode. It has a 16.5 kilowatt pack. Charges at about 3.1 kilowatts is the maximum charge rate, which is a bit slower than a lot of the pure EVs. It's about half the speed, in fact. The interior is absolutely gorgeous, very nicely done, very high quality materials. Everything around it is just immaculate. I'm going to get into it in detail in the next segment. Being a coupe, it does have limitations, especially getting to the back seat. It's not very easy to get back there. If you do want to carry longer items, you can fold back the seats, but only each seat individually. So it's kind of a 40-40 split seat. The center section is actually fixed, so you can't put anything bigger than that. So you might be able to put in some skis or something, but nothing like massive that's wide. So the gas cap is on the right rear part of the car, and then the charging port's on the left front of the car. So that might be a little bit confusing over time, but I guess you'd probably be doing one or the other. It does have a 91 octane fuel rating, so you will be paying for premium gas. 9.3 gallons is what the tank holds. One limitation, as you can see, the trunk size is relatively small. It's only about 10.5 cubic feet, which is not very big for a car of this size. And there doesn't appear to be any kind of hidden compartments or anything either. Plus, you have the hinges for the trunk door that intrude into the space when you close the trunk. much headroom. It's a very nice, beautiful interior. Even in the back here, I mean, leather everywhere. This is Alcantara, I believe. I don't think it's suede. Kind of like my Tesla, actually. It's a beautiful Alcantara. So room's okay back here, but headroom, man, because I'm not even that tall, and my head is basically it's touching the glass right here. You'd have to squat down. Jesus. Yeah, this is probably not the best place to be in the back here. You can kind of see where the head is at right here. You're touching the glass. But yes, beautiful interior back here. Not a whole lot of room though. You got like this lump right here. Cup holders, and that's it. We got like a speaker. So for children, on occasional use, it would probably be fine. Absolutely gorgeous interior. I'm definitely not going to argue with anybody on that. So it has like this nice Alcantara headliner. Very, very nice. Just like my Tesla, actually. And it has a beautiful combination of leather, Alcantara, wood. Just a little bit of everything going on here. It's got push button actuators for the door, just like a Corvette. Full power seats. This one actually has the optional power seats, actually. I think it's a $2,500 option. But yeah, it feels like leather on the dash. Everything's padded. Everything you touch, everything you see is like either leather or Alcantara. There's hardly any plastic at all. These are the cruise controls. This cruise controls right here. It has adaptive cruise control. Also has lane departure warning. But yeah, just very nice, beautiful interior, absolutely gorgeous. Very nice attention to detail. I don't know if it's $35,000 of improvement, but it's certainly massive improvement over the Volt, that's for sure. Also, you notice this gauge cluster is a little bit different than the Volt too. It's kind of similar, but it's actually kind of unique to the ELR. It's kind of a different, more traditional kind of display. Just a little bit different.
departure warning. Good nav system. It has this different type of touch screen too. When you touch it, it makes a sound. If you listen closely. You hear that? So it's kind of it's like a ch 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 when you touch it. Don't know if that's necessary, but it's if it had a little bit of feedback, it would probably be more useful. But yeah, it's pretty nice. Just try to go through some of the controls here. Pretty nice GPS system too, a little bit better than the average that I see. Actually, let me do this. So yeah, it's very much like a Bolt, nothing really too different about it. Just a lot nicer. Oh yeah, another thing too is it has these paddle shifters on the back here. So that allows you to control the regen a bit more, so I find myself doing that when I'm in, if you leave it in D mode down here, it allows you to regen as opposed to braking. This is the mode switch right here. There's actually 4 modes. There's Tour, Sport, Mountain, and Hold. So this is a bit different than the Volt, that it has the hold feature. So that allows you to run on gas engine and until you get to a certain destination. Like say if you were going into a city or something where you'd want to be in EV mode, but maybe you have a 50-mile drive to get there, it would allow you to go back on here. If you hit hold, the gas engine will just stay on until you get to that destination, and you can just drop into Tour and then it will go back to EV mode. So that way when you get to the city, you can be in EV mode. It's kind of interesting. It's a nice addition. Also, if you want to turn up the volume, you can kind of do this, swipe it across. Has a conventional drive gear shift lever, very much like an automatic transmission car, kind of traditional. This is traction control off, I think. This is kind of interesting right here. So you can't have just a simple sliding. If you push it, it kind of turns into power. And then if you give it a little tug, then the power opens. Kind of interesting. 12 volt down here. Another 12 volt back here. Looks like a SD card and a couple USB ports. Aux in. This one back here just slides manually. power actuated glove box. Got a sticker in here. It's always nice when you can get a car with the original sticker. So this is a pretty cheap car, as you can tell. Not too expensive at all. This tells you what this car has exactly, the options. I guess it does have, oh, it only has $26.90 options. Got the luxury package here. Standard vehicle price. What a bargain, huh? It's definitely a nice car as a used car, though. You could get this for like 24,000, 22,000, something like that. Mint condition. Not a bad value at all. Huh. I've got something else in here too. Have system update. Ooh, this is only vinyl though. Vinyl for the definitely feels like plastic. Put this into reverse here, see what happens. Okay, here we go. This car that makes it kind of interesting is that they only made about 3,000 of them total. Most of them were in 2014, and then they had a refreshed version in 2016. There was actually no 2015. 2015 year model, they skipped it entirely. They didn't sell very many of these cars. I think they probably thought they were going to sell more of them. But basically, I think about 2,300 of them are actually from 14, and then the last 700 or so are from 16. But this car, it is basically underneath it all. I mean, it's obviously a very beautiful car inside and out. I mean, you look around the interior, like I said before, it's like it's beautiful. I mean, it's a very nicely done interior, and the exterior is absolutely gorgeous as well. It drives pretty nice too, but it's just, I mean, it can handle some of these quarters, but I mean, this is about a 4,100 pound car, so actually it moves pretty good around that corner. Going pretty quick through that thing. For a big old 4,100 pound car, basically, you know, it's pretty nice. It is a little quieter, I think, than the Volt. Though it's still, you know, the thing is, it is still a trailing beam axle. It's still based off the Volt, and the Volt is based off the Cruze. And the Cruze is an economy car, basically. It's basically one of their GM's lesser cars. I mean, it's not their cheapest car, but it's like their compact B segment car, or C segment, maybe compact kind of sedan. So I mean, there's always going to be limitations in that. I mean, you consider that my Tesla Model S, for example, my P85 is actually weighs about 4,400 pounds. So I mean, this is only like 300 pounds more or less than that. And yeah, I mean, I could go 300 miles in my Tesla. My Tesla is incredibly roomy compared to this car. But yeah, I could see, I kind of get this car. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It would be kind of an interesting car for certain people. I mean, if you really love the look of it and the rarity of it, you know, you think that this car, just for a brief time in history, it's available, you know, about 3,000 units. That's pretty much about the same as the Toyota RAV4 EV and the original original Tesla Roadster. Both of those cars are around 2,700. So I mean, this is in that same ballpark. So it's not super rare. It's not Lamborghini rare, but it is pretty rare. So, I mean, if you like, you know, a much nicer looking car than the Volt, but if you really still need that gas, I mean, this car is EPA rated at 37. It's kind of interesting that they made such a car. You know, it's kind of like, not sure, you know, what, I'm not sure where the price tag came from either. I mean, being $75,000, that's a lot of money. I'm not exactly sure where that came from. Oh, that's interesting. So it has some like little LED lights that come on and tell you to flash and reflect on the dash, like that was flashing red. I don't know if you saw that in the shot there. I don't know what it was detecting. Maybe some sort of accident avoidance or something. I'm not exactly sure what that was. I'm just driving down the road. I don't know what that was doing. But anyway, so yeah, I don't know, you know, how the car gets to be $35,000 more than a Volt. You know, I mean, I kind of see, you know, it's a gorgeous car. You know, there's no doubt about that. But it's like, I'm not sure if it's $35,000 more. Plus, this one has a few options too, so it's really more like $80,000. As the, you know, as I showed you in the price sticker there, you know, it's pushing $80,000 plus tax. I mean, it's like $88,000 or something for some people. I mean, that's, now I know there were a lot of incentives. I know nobody really saw the value in this car. I mean, I strongly suspect that 90% of these were probably leased, and for those that were sold, they were probably heavily discounted. I remember the story back in 2014 when these things were going for heavily discounted because nobody. Oh, regen brake here with the paddle. But yeah, I mean, it's nice car. I mean, just like I said, there's just no doubt about that. But it's just like, you know, it is just a Volt at the end of the day, which is just a cruise. So it's kind of limited in that way. But it is. I mean, it's really kind of a bizarre project. I mean, you can definitely see where the money is on the interior. I mean, there's definitely a lot of upgrades here. I mean, this is much more like a luxury car, you know, much more like a Jaguar, or I would dare to say Bentley or something. Maybe not quite that luxurious, but there's this lots of, like, you know, stuff that you see. I mean, you see the leather, you see that, you feel the leather, you see the Alcantara, you know, you see the wood on the dash. I mean, but it's like, man, I mean, you know, to ask what they were asking, it was kind of crazy. I mean, Tesla is a far better value from every perspective, but when you look at it as a used vehicle, as I look at these cars as, that's my review, is I basically look at these cars for what they're worth now, not what they were worth when they were new. You know, $23,000 or something, I think, is the going rate for one of these. I mean, that's actually, you know, quite a bit more than the current Volt, but only in a relative sense. I mean, we're talking, I think the Volts are going for like 15 or so, I think. Maybe 14, 13, depending on miles and condition, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, if you could get one of these for like, say, $10,000 over a Volt, I mean, you know, it would be worth that. I mean, just for the look, I mean, just for the beautiful exterior look, I mean, that's just, it's kind of a unique car, you know? And it rides pretty good, too, with the 20-inch wheels. I was thinking it was going to ride a little bit harder, but they seem to have the suspension dialed in pretty nicely, because I don't notice any difference in ride quality compared to the Volt. I mean, it's supposed to be better handling a little bit, is what they state, and I would say that definitely keeps up with the Volt. I mean, I don't know if it's better, but it's certainly as good. It's not any worse, and the ride quality doesn't seem to be any worse than a Volt, so it seems to be about the same. So even despite having the 20-inch rims, seems to ride about the same. And I would say that the 37-mile claimed range is probably pretty accurate, because I've probably driven about 25 miles. It's still telling me I got 13 miles range, so that's pretty much right. I wasn't even fully charged when I started either, so I'm probably beating the average a little bit. And this is on a 45-degree day, so it's not exactly warm out. Although I'm only driving 30 miles an hour, 35, 40. Not really going that fast either. This clicker is kind of loud. it does have heated seats and everything, but not heated seats in the back though, unfortunately. And there's no sunroof either. It seems like a car like this should have a sunroof option. Of course, that would add probably another 100 or 200 pounds. Have adaptive cruise control, which is pretty nice. Got a nice heated steering wheel. Particularly quiet and isolated on these types of rougher roads and everything. It's not exactly isolated like a luxury car would, or at least what I would think that a luxury car would be. You know, it's not exactly super isolated. But once again, that all has to do with the chassis being a Chevy Volt, so it's always going to be limited by that. Okay, so it looks like it's charging at 3 kilowatts an hour. So just like the Volt, it has a green light on the dash here. Let's turn this thing on and see what see if it shows any kind of status of the charge. This is EV range right here on this side. It doesn't really say how many miles. I guess it says miles here, but it doesn't state what the actual charge is. Well, that's my review of a 2014 Cadillac ELR. Hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe if you did. Many more videos to come.